Hello, my name is Angela Cruz, and as part of my interviewing class, I would like to interview you. I would like to ask you questions concerning the STAR test that is administered to the Texas public school students. The interview should take anywhere from 6 minutes to 10 minutes. Are you available to respond to some questions at this time?
Yes.
Let me begin by asking you to state your name.
Shelley Deacle,
What is your current job title?
Assistant Principal.
What district do you work for?
Goose Creek CISD,
How long have you worked for the district?
18 years.
What has been your job history for the district?
10 years I taught 8th grade language arts at Horseman Junior High. In the past 8 years I've been an assistant principal here.
Okay. Let's see. Do you administer the State of Texas Assessments of Academic Readiness, also known as STAR?
Yes.
As a former teacher, do you believe it was a great idea to replace the Texas Assessment of Knowledge and Skills, or TAKS, with STAR?
Yes.
Why do you believe so?
Because it's getting our students ready for college. They're getting more college ready because it is more rigorous than what TAKS was.
Okay, getting students ready for college. All right. Since there has been a recent change in the versions available, do you believe it is an accurate reading in the results?
No.
No. Why do you feel so?
Our special needs students are given the same exact test as our regular students, and because it is so rigorous, it's hard for those students with learning disabilities to comprehend and pass and understand what's on STAR.
Okay. The testing starts at 3rd grade. How do you feel about children that young taking this test?
I think it's good. It gets them ready for what's coming in the future. So it starts them out understanding the process and what's important and how to bubble and how to be questioned and answer tests.
The STAR tests have a maximum of 4 hours for each student to complete the test. The TAKS test did not have a time limit. How do you feel this affects the students?
I think it prepares them again for college because they don't have all day to complete midterms and finals. They too are given a time limit, so I think it's aligning with the testing that's going to come later in their life.
Okay. The total number of testing days for high school is 45 days out of a 180-day school year. Do you believe this may be too many days for testing?
Yes.
Why do you feel this way?
It's taken away from the instruction in the classroom. That many days is a lot of missed instructional days that they could be preparing for those tests. So less tests, more class time would be my opinion.
Fifth and 8th graders are required to pass certain subjects in order to be promoted to the next grade level. What is your opinion on this?
I don't like it. I think it puts a lot of stress on kids and parents. I understand they have to take tests and we want them to be successful. However, kids that have to pass a test to go on to the next grade level, we have a lot of students that are checking out of school because of that. Having to pass tests to graduate, a lot of them are being homeschooled and put in private school, so it's hurting public education. I do agree with testing so we know where they're at and how we can help them, but making them having to pass it to go to the next grade level, it's overwhelming for a lot of people.
When the TAKS test was administered, they had to pass a total of 4 exit level tests to graduate. The STAR test requires they pass a total of 15 tests at a minimum score level. How do you think this affects the graduated numbers?
I know for sure that not as many kids are graduating. And like I said, a lot of them are withdrawing and going to either private schools where they don't have to take STAR, or being homeschooled or getting their GED. In fact, we talked about it this year that there's a lot of repeaters that have not passed it, and they're continuing to have to take tutorials and remedial classes trying to get them prepared to pass it, and they're missing other instructional time and electives and things that they could enjoy doing. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. It's more than double what it used to be.
Do you feel that some students drop out of school because they can't pass those graduating requirements? As you said, yes, you do believe that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Some believe that the tax test was fairly easy for students to pass. Then there are some that believe the STAR test is too hard for them to pass. Which test do you prefer for them to be administered?
I wish we had something in between, because I do agree with that. I think tax was testing just basic knowledge and skills, which kids need to know. And the STAR is rigorous and causing them to kind of think outside the box. And not all of our students are capable of doing that. It takes a while for kids to think that way. A lot of the gifted and talented students can think that way, but not all students are made the same. So it's very difficult for many students.
Schools that receive funds from the state of Texas are required to enforce these tests among students. Any private school, charter school, or homeschooling that does not receive funds from the state are not required to administer the test. Do you feel that those schools should be exempt from the STAR test?
No, because those are the same kids in our community that are going to work in our community. So just because they're out of public school, I don't think they should not have to take a test. If that's the state requirement, it needs to be the same across the board for everyone.
Okay. The state requires that the STAR end of course EOC exams to count as 15% of a student's final course grade. As a former teacher, assistant principal, do you feel that percentage should be so high?
Can you read the question again?
The state requires that the STAR end of course exams to count as 15% of a student's final course grade.
I think it's too high.
Too high.
Because a kid can do very well in his course or her course throughout the year, and then have a bad day, something happen in their life at that day that they're taking that test, bomb the test, and then they have to retake the entire course based on one day of testing. So yes, I think it's way too high.
Okay. Since the EOC exams count as 15% of a student's final course grade, there is a chance that overall course grades, class rank, and GPA could possibly drop dramatically. How do you feel about that?
Again, I think it's way too high. The kids work really hard all year long in their classes for their GPA and their class rank, and it comes down to one day, one test that can make or break that kid. Not to mention some kids have test anxiety, so they may perform differently during the year than they do on that day.
Okay. The test results have a huge impact on how the teachers are graded on their performance. Do you feel this gives an accurate result on how well or how bad they may teach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like our teachers build relationships with kids and work hard every day, come in, give 100%, and it's not their fault wholly if a kid doesn't pass a test. Some students have learning disabilities and they can't overcome that, and no matter what that teacher does or says, they may never be successful. So you can never blame a teacher for that.
Okay, I believe. So overall, you believe that the STAR test should be somewhat in between the TAKS and the STAR, not as hard as it is now.
Correct.
Okay. So I appreciate the time you took for this interview. Is there anything else you think would be helpful for me to successfully understand your views about the STAR test?
I don't think so.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.